All right, let's get into it. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world where it all begins for every single player of My Singing Monsters. We're talking about the one, the only, the iconic Plant Island.
You know, that quote from the game, it just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the magic. You start out with this really peaceful, quiet little patch of green, and then, before you know it, you're conducting a whole monster symphony. Let's break down exactly how that amazing transformation happens.
So get this, Plant Island has been here since day one, right from the game's launch back in 2012. And it didn't take long for things to get interesting. Just a month later, it was already hosting the very first seasonal event. But maybe the biggest moment, the real game changer, came in 2023. For over a decade, the island itself was just sleeping. And when its colossal, Greenwich, was finally woken up, it added a totally new sound to a song players had known for years. Talk about a long-term payoff.
Okay, so let's get into the heart of it all, the music. This is where the real genius of My Singing Monsters comes into play. Because you, the player, you're the composer. And your instruments, well, they're the monsters themselves.
Every great song needs a solid foundation, right? Well, for Plant Island, that foundation is this super catchy 140 beats per minute, all in the key of C minor. You can almost think of it as the island's musical DNA. It means no matter which monster you add, they're all kind of singing from the same sheet music, which is exactly why it always sounds so good together.
So, how do you even start building that song? Well, what's really cool is that your very first building, the castle, is already playing music. It provides this constant, steady bass line. From there, you add your first monster, the noggin, which gives you that simple rock-tapping percussion. Then comes the mammoth, and with its legendary bum bum bum, suddenly you have your first real melody. It's that simple act of layering that takes you from just a couple of monsters to a full-blown chorus.
But of course, the song is nothing without the singers. So let's talk about the stars of the show and see just how much variety they packed into this very first island.
You'd think the first island would be pretty basic, wouldn't you? Well, just look at this roster. You've got your standard naturals, sure, but also the super rare ethereals, limited-time seasonals, and even unique mythical and legendary monsters. This isn't just some tutorial island. It's a fully featured musical world right from the jump.
And even within those classes, you've got different tiers. Your common monsters are your workhorses, the backbone of your song. But here's the hook. During special events, you can get your hands on rare and epic versions. Now, they sing the same part, but they look incredible. And, this is key for your progress, they generate way more coins. It's an absolute collector's dream. So here's the real takeaway on this. The sheer scale of it all is just mind-blowing. When you add up every common, rare, epic, and all the other special types, Plant Island alone is home to 67 distinct monsters. And if you're into customizing things, there are 189 different costumes to collect. This is not some tiny starter zone. The amount of content here is absolutely massive. Okay, so we've met the cast. Now let's talk about how you actually build your ensemble. It all comes down to the core gameplay loop, breeding new monsters and expanding your island real estate.
And this right here, this is the magic formula. You take two monsters, each with their own element, pop them in the breeding structure, and discover something new. You combine a plant element potbelly with an earth element noggin, and boom, you get a shrub. It's this simple, brilliant system of discovery that keeps everyone constantly experimenting just to see what they'll create next. But wait, where do you put all these new monsters? Well, when you start, your island is covered in trees and rocks. Clearing every single one of those obstacles to maximize your space, that's a huge long-term goal, and it's going to cost you a grand total of 222,800 coins. And this table, this really shows you the main path of your progression. Every monster needs a bed, and the castle is what gives you those beds. You start out with just 5, which is nothing, but by pouring your coins, and eventually your precious diamonds, into upgrades, you can expand all the way to 180 beds. That's literally how you go from a tiny quintet to a massive sprawling orchestra.
Now, for those of you who want to go beyond just finishing the song, Plant Island has some deeper strategies for really mastering the game, plus one final, epic secret to unlock. Because see, it's not just about the music. There's a whole economy running underneath. Different monsters generate coins at wildly different rates. A beginner monster like the noggin, it brings in a pretty modest income. But once you start breeding complex monsters like the Entbret and eventually the unbelievable Woodbox, your income per bed just skyrockets. This is the engine that lets you build and expand everything even faster.
And to keep things interesting, the game is always running seasonal events. The very first and most famous one is Spooktacle, which happens on Plant Island around Halloween. During this event, the whole island gets this spooky makeover, and you have a really limited window to breed the exclusive monster, Punkleton.
And this is the ultimate secret. The island isn't just a piece of land. It's a living creature, a colossal named Greenwich. For years, it just laid there, sleeping, totally silent. But now, after you complete a really difficult quest, you can finally awaken it. And when you do, it adds this deep, resonant, almost mechanical drone to the entire song. It is the final, ultimate lair, the very heartbeat of the Plant Island Symphony.
So from a quiet paradise to a roaring chorus, Plant Island gives you all the tools you need. You get to choose which monsters to place, which ones to mute, and which ones to feature. The song itself is set, but the final performance? That's all you. It's uniquely yours. So the only question left is, what will your island sound like?